It's Big Los, and today's show is brought to you by Audible. Audible is offering our listeners a free audiobook with a 30-day trial membership. Just go to audibletrial.com/beat and browse the unmatched selection of audio programs, download a title free, and start listening. It's that easy. Go to audibletrial.com/BEAT.
Boy, just be yourself. If people don't like it, if you're being yourself, fuck them.
Los. And welcome to another episode of The Noize. If you haven't yet, go ahead and follow us on the big three: Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at The Noize Podcast. And of course, follow everything Beat Network at beatnetworkonline.com. So I'm debating with myself because it's like we have like an update to give to our listeners, but then we also have a special guest in the building.
Yeah.
Ow.
And as you hear, ow. So what we'll go ahead and do, we'll just bring it up later. We'll talk about it sometime within the show. But to address the owl that's in the building, ladies and gentlemen of the Kinky Blunt Talks podcast.
Ow.
And it is everything that you just heard. It's all the description.
Everything. I smell like weed.
Ladies and gentlemen, ear hustlers of the Noize, welcome Tiara.
Ow. Hey guys, how are you? I guess I always want to, how are you? I always want to do like a mental health check because I'm all about mental health, right?
Oh, so are we. That's all we talk about.
I love it. We don't talk about it enough, so I want to normalize like, how are you? You know, like, Absolutely. Are we okay? Like, it's okay to be like,
how are you?
I'm great. How about you guys?
All is well.
Yeah, I'm here.
All is well.
Okay, we're all alive and blessed.
We're
right?
alive and we're breathing. Yes,
right,
ma'am.
We're here. But yeah, so I'm Kinky Blunt Talks, and on the show I talk about everything, I guess. I TA'd for a little bit, and I talked about everything.
Wait, you talk about who?
I TA'd. I was the teacher's assistant for human
Taming
sexuality.
ass, that's what
Yes. And it was human sexuality.
Mm-hmm.
And so we talked about a whole bunch of things. And so just having those conversations, I realized that people don't know like what consent is, or like you can rape somebody, you know, like people don't realize like those are some of the things that, you know, goes on, or people don't know like there's different types of, like you don't have to be monogamous. Like, I hate monogamy, but we're not going to talk about it right now.
Oh no, we're going to talk about it.
we just saw you had an episode talking about being polyamorous.
Yes,
so we're going to highlight that.
We're going to talk about it.
I don't really, but people don't know that, and I didn't know that, so I was always like, why don't I like monogamy? Like, why don't I, why don't I fit this like social contract that everyone's like, put me in this box, right? And I was like, why don't I fit in it? And so when I took the class, I was like, ooh, okay, this makes sense. And I started to realize like more myself, and I started to become more comfortable. Mm-hmm. And so as I was more comfortable with myself, and I had my students that I was, we were talking about sex, and we were talking about, BDSM, and we were talking about polyamorous relationships, and we were talking about a whole bunch of stuff.
Why do people come on the show and then just skate past like certain things? I was talking to my students about BDSM. What do you teach? But you know what? Look, I definitely want to get more into this show.
Okay.
So we'll definitely table that part
because
now I feel like I'm interested in the people, because
we want to know.
We found out that there are multiple people that are actually in the building at the moment. So tell me. Well, no, you kind of did touch on. So expand a little bit more on Tiara.
Okay. Tiara is just me, like who you know as like Suavae Love, or the person you see on the street, or whoever. Like that's just me, and sometimes I can be ratchet, sometimes I can be a little ignorant, like as we all can, because sometimes hey,
it's human nature,
right? So sometimes I can be that, and then so as I want to move more forward to the more career me, I want to transform myself into like a different side or a different person. And for Kinky Blunt Talks, I'm like, I want to be called Kinky T, like that's her, and that's like a different identity,
like alter ego type thing.
Yeah, like my alter ego. Like I always wanted to call, like when I'm in the bed, like the freaky me is Claire.
Oh,
so,
see, we just found out about Claire.
Hey Claire. So, when I do like my freaky tweets on like Twitter on Suavae Love, that's Claire talking. It's not me talking.
Oh, okay.
But Kinky T talks about a whole bunch of stuff, and she's not like judgmental, I guess. Like, like it's just a different side of me. Like the more, this is who I am outside of Twitter. because I feel like we're all different people in a sense, like who we are in the workplace. Like it's totally not the same person who we are on Twitter.
I don't know. I'm kind of a dick at my job just as much as I am in like the rest of the society. But I feel you.
You know, like depends on where you work, you know, like you have to put on like a certain mask, you know, like, okay,
I get what you're saying.
You know, you can't act like this way at, you know, your job, or, you know, I can't be like, fuck all you bitches, you know, like that shit, you know, like I can't do that at my job.
On your last day, you can't.
You know, like I can't be.
Your exit, you can say what you want.
At the end of that 2-week notice, I'd like to make an announcement. Fuck all you bitches.
Yeah, but you can't do that if you want to keep your job. Yes, but the more educational me is Kinky T, and she's just amazing, and I love her.
Okay, she's also the podcast host, correct?
Yes.
Okay, so you know, now we're gonna move on to Kinky T. Not sure if you want to talk about Claire eventually. I'm pretty sure the ear hustlers are now interested, but we'll move to Kinky T. Tell us a little bit more about her, as well as who she is on the podcast.
Oh, that's cute. I love that question.
No problem. You know, kind of nice at this.
Been doing this a while.
Let me think.
Did you see that laugh?
Because I was like, that is really so cute. I was
vapors. All right, I'm sorry.
You have to hand up like that.
Oh man, I didn't expect that. Oh, okay.
It's a little different for me because I don't have headphones on, so I can't hear the same things you hear. So it's a little different. For
so
me,
you just rocking with it.
But I can see that. I can see the little hand, so I know what's going on.
All right, I'm sorry, Left. Go ahead.
Okay. Okay, can you say it again? You know,
Kinky T. Okay. Who is she? And you know, so how is she on the podcast?
Oh, okay. So right now she's looking. I always want to do it like she's looking for stuff, right? It's so hard to be poly and like want and have a relationship, and so every time I can, I'm like, okay, I'm looking for a girlfriend. Like I want a girlfriend in my relationship. But before, I'm a unicorn before, and I like to go into other couples' relationships and do that, and that's who she is. She's very all open about her polyamorous life, and you know, being bisexual, and you know, just loving that life and how that looks like, and you know, she's very like positive, I guess. Like,
so I guess Kinky T would be what they call a free spirit.
Yes, okay. Yes, that's what I am. Yes, that's exactly. Like when I go to EDC, they're like, "You're such a free spirit," and I love EDC, gotcha. I guess. But Fleur, you know, gotta represent peace, gotcha. Love, unity, respect.
Be out.
But right. Yes, free spirit above all. Like doesn't care what anybody else thinks about her.
Gotcha.
Okay. Finally, so you mentioned that when you're out and about, so I can only assume with hearing about EDC, that's when Suavae makes her makes her appearance. Okay, so who is this person?
She's ratchet as fuck.
Hey, all cheeks clap.
Ooh, yes. The first year I went to EDC, I'm like, oh my God, what the fuck was I doing? I'm pretty sure I was so afraid that people were going to like post what was I doing? Because I was just so crazy. I had my titties out and like, ooh, and everything like, ooh, like legit, no pasties, no nothing. Because I was so hot.
Just say fuck it, just do it.
Fuck it, titties out because I was so hot.
Free the nipple.
Let it be.
No one told me anything.
Of course not. It's EDC.
Yeah.
I'm guaranteed.
I'm pretty sure you weren't the only person that had it.
Two people away from you, there was a dick swinging somewhere.
Oh, I'm
hitting
sure.
all the thighs.
Yeah.
There's people fucking, I'm sure.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
So I love EDC just for that vibe.
Motherfuckers finna be like, what time? When EDC?
Right.
What month is this going down?
You know what? I need a nut. When EDC?
Man, and there's so many ass and titties.
I believe it.
I touched so many ass and titties. So many. Like, and I had a consensus that I really do like real titties. Real titties.
Gang.
I like real titties too.
Woo! Yes, because they feel so much better. And I've touched so many fake titties that night, or those 3 days, and so many real titties. So
you were able to compare and contrast.
Yes, I
see what the
pros and cons type of thing.
Yes. So I was like, okay, real titties, like it's a thing. Like men are not lying. Like men are they're you know how we're like men are lying. They're real fake titties feel better. You know, we always think like men are lying, but no, they're.
Y'all always think we lying. You know what I'm saying? Like. So there's a lot of us out here genuine, you feel me?
Yeah.
You didn't have to do the whole eye roll. She was like, okay. Look at this your show.
Okay. I would say the same shit too, you know, whatever. Okay.
I know y'all lying asses be lying. It's all good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do. I ain't lying.
Let's go with some honesty on the noise.
I ain't lying. You know, us bitches is bad too. Literally, bad bitches being bad.
The whole phrase.
Whole phrase.
So just kind of help some of our ear hustlers, and then really, I'm very curious about your take on this.
Okay.
Only because it was the most recent episode that you had, and one of the shows that we used to have here called Pillow Talk, they actually had a polyamorous couple on there. So, kind of talk about what exactly is polyamory, and if you want to get into stories, you can. This is a very unfiltered,
it's
unapologetic show.
Safe space.
It is literally our catchphrase. Yeah. We sell shirts with it.
I always try and offer a safe space too. So that's my main thing, because I've had to facilitate, discussions on things that people don't feel comfortable about. Like I've had students that were rape victims, and now we've got to talk about sex. Right. So that's like, So I've always tried to maintain a safe space as much as I can. Because I think that is so important, and I don't think we have too many of those.
This is true.
It's so hard to say, like, I have a safe space to be like, I can say whatever I want, however I want, and no one's going to judge me. So I feel like those are super important to have and broadcast it, I guess.
Yeah, right. Definitely.
So I guess for me, I always like to put in my words, because I feel like we always look at Google and we're like, what does that mean? Or some people are like, I don't get it. But anyway, so polyamory to me is basically going against all norms, adding a third party to your relationship, and, like, it's just a bigger family. a bigger relationship, because everyone always wants to look at it so negatively, like, ew, how can you do this, or how can you, I don't know, it just looks so bad, like, how can you love two people, or how can this one person, I don't know, there's just a lot of like negative stigma that goes around it. So I like to wordplay, because I feel like that's important, because especially like things that go on the media, like the way they flip things, I'm like, I can see how that's negatively interpreted. Like I'm like, they really meant this, but it came out this way. So I always try and make sure I watch what I say and how I say it.
Nah, at least not on here, so you can get off.
No, yeah. No, but I'm always, just maybe like later down the line, they're gonna be like, she said this, this, and this. I don't know. Maybe in my therapy world, I don't know.
Hey, listen, it happens.
It does.
At the end of the day, people gonna find what they're looking for.
They are.
Created, so.
They are, and they're gonna remix it however they want to.
So you might as well enjoy it while it's here.
Fuck it,
At this point, you already said you was feeling on titties at EDC. There's not too much going back from there.
Hey, I forgot. Okay,
we did just have this conversation. That's right. That's true.
So you say in this you basically love two people. That's basically what it is.
Yeah, and then we all have like our own functions. We all have our own
wordplay. Go crazy.
We've been learning about systems in class, so it's like, everything functions as a system, and this is systemic. So I'm like,
So what is the system of polyamory?
Oh, that's good.
Positions.
It's different for everybody though, so I feel like that's a very broad question, because I don't.
Okay, let's speak on you then.
Okay, so for me, my system would basically be like, it depends on my position. Like
I just said, position.
This is why I'm like, it's so hard to speak on just one situation, because in one situation I'm a unicorn, which is I'm adding on to someone else's relationship, and so I would just be like their plus one, and hey, whenever they want to have threesomes, they hit me up like, hey, let's do this. Hey, I miss you. Let's have let's have a get together, and I go on and we go on dates, and it's very fun. So there's that, and then they have their own little life. Like literally, like I watch all their stuff on Instagram, and I'm like,
that sounds like
so
a side
cute.
chick to me.
But everybody knows about me.
Sounds like a side chick to me.
But I'm accepted, so it's a little different. Like it's
in 2019, side everythings have been accepted pretty much.
This is true.
However,
yeah.
I do understand. I do know what you're talking about.
But
right?
It's communicated, and like it's not like I feel like a side piece is like, she's hidden, and like there's no communication and there's a mistrust. So I feel like side pieces, you know, there's that negative, like, okay, she's a side piece and I'm hiding it, but he's okay with it. She's okay with it. They both are okay with me being here for them. And so whenever, you know, they want to be here and, you know, he slaps my ass in front of her and he picks me up and he'll kiss me in front of her and she's just there like chilling. You know, we're here for we all fucked, you know, like. Of course. What more can we do from here? You know, like, this is just.
Cook. I'm sorry. Food.
Cook. She does cook. She's like, she cooks and she holds it down.
So this is a come up for you.
Oh, yes, of course. When they take me on dates, they make sure I'm good. You know, whenever I need them, I hit them up and I know they're going to be there and they're super reliable and I love them for that. Even to this day, like, we still have that open communication, like, hey, you know, how are you? You know, how's life?
How did you know that you were like, this is your life? Like, you wanted to do this. This is what you rock with.
I realized that when I was with them.
Like, so just recently?
Oh, no, this has been going on for about, like 4 years.
Oh, so y'all in the game. Gotcha. And so with them is when you realize, like, all right, I can rock with this.
Yeah, I mean, I also had like a little family before that, but the way they did things was a little weird to me. They didn't communicate a lot of the things, and a lot of things wasn't communicated. So I felt like it was cheating, and I didn't like that.
Oh,
you know what I mean? Like,
so this isn't your first poly relationship?
No.
Oh, okay.
So I guess that kind of goes into my next question, because I was going to ask you if you had any like hurdles, any issues with this. So I guess that kind of that was an issue.
That was an issue. At first she was very. I don't think I've ever really talked about them. So if they hear this, they're gonna be like, "Oh my god, this bitch is talking about me,"
which is fine.
Is fine. I don't mind, but it's just so funny. Like, now that I bring it up, it's like, oh my god, I guess that was probably like my first, like, maybe this is something that I like. But the way they, you know, like I said, did things were weird. But so I remember, I think I had a boyfriend at the time, or some weird yeah, I think I had a boyfriend at the time.
Some weird shit. That was weird? All right.
That was the difference.
That was weird, yeah.
Some weird shit, you know.
I was in a traditional relationship.
Yeah, I was for sure. And so I was like, I had said something to the guy, and the girl was like, why are you talking about my man? Why you know, like, and I'm like, I have my own man. Like, I'm not even trying to talk to your man. Like, it's not it's not that. And so it was weird. And then so anyway, I was just friends with the guy, and so me and that guy broke up. And so I didn't know how we got into it. It was just like we were gonna try it. And so she was cool. She cooked amazing. She was like good cook. So I was always over there, and we'd smoke, and
how does that conversation go?
I don't really remember. Like,
this is like, do you be like, hey, look, I want to fuck y'all. Like, how does that go?
No, basically like that.
I like it, and I want you.
Right.
No, basically like that. It's just like that. I think that's probably how it went. But the lack of communication at first was just so like awkward. I probably like exit that all out of my mind. But it's basically like that. Like, hey, you know, like, me and him want to fuck. Yes or no?
And I was just about to say that too. Like, from the people that I know that actually have been in poly relationships, it's normally the dude's idea, but the woman is the one that approaches it. Like, she's not necessarily against it. Like, she could be with it, but I normally would hear about the woman asking the other woman, like,
he got to check in with her, and then if she cool with it, she got to be the one that probably pushes it. Now,
we're sitting here guessing, like, we don't have a specialist.
You're right.
So
it depends.
Kind of like, what's the approach for it, I guess?
It depends on that couple and that relationship. Like, I already, my second family, I guess, when I was with them, I already knew her, and I already had a relationship with her. So she was going through a whole bunch of stuff, but we didn't have like a relationship. Like, we weren't together. We were, you know, kissing around and messing around, you know, but we didn't do anything. And we didn't date or anything because she was super possessive at first. Yeah, she was super possessive. So that was turning me off. I'm a Leo, like, don't like that. I'm not a fan. So anyway, so she found a boyfriend because she was like super lesbian at the time. Like, didn't want to be with the guy, I don't think. Or she was just very, very lesbian. And then all of a sudden she was like, I found this guy I like, and da-da-da-da. And So, you know, I'm like, hey, if he makes you happy, that, you know, whatever, rock it, love it, you know, like do what you need to do. She wanted another kid. And so that was obviously like her, yeah, I'm going to rock with it. I want a kid. Right. You know, she's like, obviously it's too expensive to fucking adopt, you know, or not adopt, but she wanted her own. So it's too expensive to do all that shit. And she's like, fuck it. This is, you know, men are free. Right. And so anyway, she fell in love. And so he ended up like sliding in my DMs and was like, hey, I know that you guys, you know, liked each other or whatever. But would you mind if, you know, I joined in on the relation, you know, like if you guys were eating each other out, can I join? Or, you know, like, would you feel comfortable? And so for me, I was super comfortable with that because, yeah, you know, like, okay, I didn't know him. So for that was okay. But also that's just a rare, you're in like a lucky situation, but it also depends on like other situations. Like I know for a time, like I would rather my guy to approach her.
You would rather your guy to approach the
girl,
additional?
yeah, the girl that we want.
Why?
Just so I feel like women. I don't know. This is just for me. Women don't take women serious. Like, would you take me? You know, like, would a woman take me serious? I'm like, hey. I mean, they do.
I'm about to say that's kind of weird because, like, at least in our experience outside looking in, like y'all are the only ones that can ultimately have a whole sexual relationship with a woman and still not be classified as gay.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So it's,
no, yeah, but she's gonna want my nigga first. That's our first assumption. She's gonna want my nigga first. Okay. Like, so if she gets my nigga, that's good, you know. And I'm just an easy pass. I'm like, okay, but I got my bitch too. Gotcha, you know, like if she thinks my nigga's fine, like a bitch gonna do whatever she, you know, she wanna do, I guess, to get my nigga. So that's how I feel. Like, so she likes you.
So your nigga is bait, pretty much.
Yes.
I'm trying to cast this line real quick. I'm trying to see what's gonna bite. I'm gonna bite back. Let's go.
Yes. So, but then, hey, there's some women that probably do approach. Like when I did want to have a threesome at one point in time with this guy. I approached the women that I knew because I knew them, and I was like, okay, she's bad as fuck, and she's had conversations about it, and we've had conversations about it before. So she's open for, you know, to try things, I guess, with me. So there's times that I've actually reached out too. So it's just kind of like, depends on how we feel, I guess. Okay. Back and forth.
Now, you did mention your nigga a few times outside of the current example. Are you in any kind of relationship with a nigga or with a woman? I know you said you.
Not officially.
Oh, I can tell this is a sensitive subject. I got my answer, so we'll just move forward.
No, it's not that sensitive. It's just I don't know.
Sounds like they just fuck, and that's about what it is right now.
And he takes her to dinner.
Speaking of fun,
maybe they don't go to dinner.
Yeah, we do go to dinner. We do go to dinner. I'm like, how you know? How you know? Like, but I do like him and I do care, but I don't know.
You just don't know where y'all at yet.
No, I don't know if I want to do the monogamy thing.
I'm not gonna lie. Gotcha. All of her answers is completely shaping this episode. We were gonna talk about like random shit that happened in the world. Oh, we on now because I got more questions.
Yeah, me too. My next question was sex. So,
my favorite.
How does that work necessarily? Like, if you and the girl or you and the guy is y'all more in tune with each other, does the other person just like kind of hang out? I mean, I've had a threesome before, but nobody was hanging out, so I'm curious.
Except his dick.
You guys are funny. Well, I feel like she's our prize. So I feel like for me, I would focus on her more. Because obviously me and the guy we fucked before. I know how we come. Like we know each other so much. So it's just like routine, you know. So I can miss out on the routine every now and then.
It's like house party. Switch.
I see.
Yeah, exactly. So I, you know, cherish her more, and I like women more because there's titties and ass, and you know,
I love women more too.
You know, men don't have
because
titties and ass. Thank you. There's no titties, ass. Men don't have that. So it's kind of boring.
Boring. Now that sounds like a personal problem.
I'm sitting here like, we have dicks though.
Right. The guy or somebody not doing something right. Shouldn't be boring.
No, it's not boring. I love sex. It's great. But I can't like shake titties with him. I can't like move his titties.
So it sounds like you like to have fun.
He's probably
like to have fun.
Probably my size, I guess.
You like to have fun when you're having sex, and you feel like you can't do that with just a guy.
Yeah,
basically.
you can't.
That's what it sounds like.
First of all, let me say thank you, because for years I've been trying to explain to this man my obsession with titties. And I'm like, they're so much fucking fun.
They're so fun.
You just heard this from Kinky T.
Yes,
right?
so fun. I
Shit's
love
fun.
titties. Okay. I always, every time I'm out, like, I ask a woman, can I please touch your titties? I'm like, your titties are so nice. Can I touch your titties?
You can see the seriousness in her face just now. You're going to let me touch those titties.
No, yeah, dead ass. You're going to let me touch your titties, but let me ask for consent first.
Exactly. That's what it's all about in 2019. Got to get that.
Yes.
So, a regular monogamous relationship, is it more so boring, or does it just not interest you? And please be your authentic self on the show, because this is going to lead to another line of questioning.
No, I'm always authentic, because I feel like I was fighting to be authentic for a really long time, and I didn't know how to be me. And so now that I know how to be me, I never try to hide her.
Absolutely.
I keep her close and near to me.
All four of them. Gotcha.
There's a lot of people, you know. What was the question again? I'm so sorry.
Are monogamous relationships, are they boring?
Are they boring?
Or just
Okay.
not interested?
I need the attention. It's so bad. It's so bad. I'm
That's
sorry. I need the attention.
Oh, so you feel you can't get that with a monogamous relationship?
I don't.
Ah.
I need a different type of attention. Like, if I talk to a guy and, like, there's a situation where he doesn't get it, and I'm like, oh my God, a woman would get it. Fuck. I only have this guy.
I would like to speak on behalf of the black male delegation. Fucking hate that reasoning. You wouldn't understand. You're not a woman.
Sometimes you just don't understand. It's like, I'm frustrated because...
You know what's funny about that? Because they can say that, but if we be like, nah, you wouldn't get it because you're not a dude, they take offense to it.
That sounds stupid.
No, it does. So, but I guess for lack of better words, what I mean is like, if I'm saying something and like, if I was explaining something to you, you understand where I'm coming from because A, you could have been in that situation before. You just a nigga, so you know. A woman wouldn't know that sometimes. But if you say that, you wrong. I'm gonna
expand on that too, but I do want to have her finish what she was saying.
No, you're absolutely correct. But I think for me, I guess the emotional aspect, I haven't had a man that was emotionally, I don't know how I want to say this, emotionally, like super emotional. Like
emotional?
I don't know. I feel like that wasn't too emotional enough for me.
You haven't met a man that's really in tune with his emotions type of thing?
And I feel like that's just like, I wanted to make it really simpy. I wanted to make it sound really sappy and simpy, but I couldn't get it across. Like,
we understood.
Whatever.
So, okay, so with that, let's say you did come across a man who is in tune with his emotions and can give you that simpy simp shit and stuff like that. That's not gonna sway your opinion on him.
No,
I'm asking you directly because there's a wider version of you. There's a whole group of you.
Oh yeah, the Suavae part that's a little ignorant, right?
Feels a little different. So,
no, it just depends on how you do it, because you can be in tune with your emotions just on how you deal with it. Like if you're like, of course I'm gonna think some type of way. But if you,
I love you. So Tyrese crying about seeing his child. That's.
I would have let him see his child. Like, fuck, you want to cry on fucking social media and embarrass me? Fucking see his child.
Fuck his tears. Huh, nigga? Take all that crying.
Man,
little nigga hungry anyway.
Right, shit.
Fuck, don't want to see your ass anyway. Shit. Start down if you ain't coming.
So, okay. The next question that I had. First of all, I you appreciate and respect, you know what I'm saying, your honesty and your straightforwardness.
For me, in high school, I used to be slut shamed And I wasn't even having sex at the time, but I was just so open with my sexuality at the time. But I also had like my parents talking to me about sex, and my mom was very open about it. And so, and my family's from Hawaii, so they're very open about a lot of things. And so it just comes with that. So I was always very open. And so when people talked about me, I was like, what the fuck? Like, why? I'm not even having sex. How do you think I'm a slut or a hoe when you just like fucked all these guys and I haven't even lost my virginity yet? And so I think my sophomore year, I kind of like hit her and I stopped doing a lot of things, and I try to like disguise who I was. And I was battling with like, am I really bisexual in high school too? So there was just a lot of things that I was going on, and I just didn't deal with it. And because I was afraid of getting made fun of again. No one wants to get called names, and whether we want to say yeah or not, you know, it's not fun. So then graduated high school, and I'm like, okay, I don't know any of these people for real, so I can kind of be myself some more.
Right.
And then
college.
Yes, college is amazing. People say don't go, but I think there's a lot of things I wouldn't have learned if I didn't go. So I'm grateful for those things that I did learn. So like when I took the human sexuality class and I became a TA, I worked with a professor, and she helped. She was so much like me. I was like, oh my gosh, I can be myself and have a career. She's just like me. And I was like, I can like legit be myself now. Like I know that there's somebody like me and I don't have to worry about it. So for me, that I was grateful for that situation, like where I was like, fuck this. Like she's getting paid. She's doing what she want to do. She gets to talk about sex and get paid so much money to do it. You know, so I aspired to be her because I was battling with all the stuff that she was going through. And I was like, I can never talk about sex and get paid for it. I can never talk about sex and it be okay, and I can never do this and I can never do that. But when I met somebody that's like, no, fuck these people, be yourself, she kind of took me under her wing, I felt like, and she helped me break those barriers. And so I think that just goes into like why women don't do it, is because I don't think they've met anybody, or, you know, in my opinion, they've met anybody that could help them, make them be okay with themselves. Because like when I had my students, when I was TAing, I was helping them be a better them. I was, one of the girls was like, I don't know if I'm bisexual or not. And I'm like, well, this is my signs when I was this age, I did this, and this. And she's like, okay, you know, like I did the same thing.
She got a little bit of a grasp on
yeah,
things.
Yeah. She was like, okay, like became a little bit more comfortable with being herself and like opening up to say, okay, I think I'm bisexual, like, or I think I like girls, not just like, I think girls are pretty. And I think girls are cute.
Girls pretty cute too.
Yeah. But I always looked at her like she wants to say more than that. But as time kept going, I got her open a little bit, and she did express like, okay, I do like girls, or, you know, I want to start experiencing that. And so, but this is college. Like they're 19, 20, you know, whatever age they wanted to be taking that class. And so if you don't take that, I feel like if you didn't take that class, where would you have gotten that opportunity to have that exposure? Like, this is okay. You know, like you can go explore and do all that stuff, but you don't have that interaction. So it's sometimes like, or, you know, you can do stuff on your own and battle on your own. But for me, it was really hard because I was like, I still don't know how to be outside myself. You can read as much, but it's like, okay, can I be myself? Like, you don't know how to apply it. I felt like sometimes. And when I was under somebody's wing, I was like, okay, this is how I apply it, or this is how I look at it. I'm like, okay, that makes more sense. Like just talking to other people about it. So just having that social like network of other people that can definitely help, you know, because it's like, I don't know how to be myself. Help me. You know, like I need that support.
It's almost like the world is becoming more so like that.
Yeah.
In a sense where you want to be open sexually. It's to the point where now it's jokes on social media. You know what I'm saying?
You mentioned it before, and then you mentioned it when you were talking just now. This class did that class help you become, or help you decide that you wanted to be a sex therapist?
Yes. I didn't know you can get paid to talk about sex, like without being like a sex worker. Like I don't hate sex workers, so it's not like boo on sex. I love sex workers. You know, they gotta shake some ass.
Shaking a
you
few
know,
things, actually.
right? You know, so I love them, but That class definitely helped a lot.
Okay. So with not just taking that class, but what makes you feel like you're qualified to talk about sex?
Okay, there's a lot of things that
She was like, let me sit up on these niggas real quick.
I've actually there's a lot of things I feel like I guess I don't want to sound like, oh, I'm looking for like, oh, da, da, da. But there's a lot of the sides of sex that I've been on, like the consensual side and the non-consensual side. You know, like being a rape victim. Ooh, victim. You know, like that's not what I like to look at it. It's like an experience. Like, so it's like, oh, wow. It's a different side of like how sex can really be fucked up, even though you really, really like it. So I feel like I can understand people who are afraid to have sex. And we don't talk about people, like we don't talk about performance anxiety. We don't talk about that. Like we don't ever talk about, oh, maybe he couldn't last, you know, because of performance anxiety.
Can women get that?
I feel like yes. Yes. You know, but it depends on like what it is. Like, oh my God, like, what if my vagina doesn't taste good? What if he doesn't like it? You know, like some of those things that, you know, and that could really fuck up like a lot of things. Like maybe she's not going to come, or maybe she's not getting as wet as she could because she's like really anxious, and it's just like very frustrating. Like, cause there's a lot of things that can go on when you first have sex. So you don't know and he doesn't know. And so it's just like, what do we do? Right? Unless you talked about it at first, you know, I feel like we should talk about sex more. Like when we have sex, what do you like? What do you don't like?
Sitting there butt ass naked. So, want to touch my dick? Go. Can I flick your nipple? No, you don't like flicking? Okay. I should do something with the nipple, though. Right, I'm sorry.
It's like this. Like we all expect like this amazing first time sex without anybody like, oh, you like this? I don't know.
Right, without anybody saying it. It's supposed to just happen. I get it.
Yeah. So it's weird for me.
So what are my bad, Kevin. Did you have another question?
I don't think so.
Okay,
I
thought you were prepping. My fault. So you're going to school to be a sex therapist, correct?
Yes.
Well, to just get into therapy, and then that's going to be your focus.
Yes.
Okay. Have you had the chance to practice sex therapy yet?
She was going to say practice sex. I'm saying, oh, I'm pretty sure that
after 40 minutes, that'd be the dumbest question to ask. Have you fucked? You know what I'm saying? But yeah, have you had the chance to,
not yet. I get to start seeing clients actually in the summer.
Okay.
So we'll see what happens. But I feel like some of the stuff that I did do when I was TAing, because I had a group of students, a couple of students, like about depends on the class, like 10, 15, maybe 16. And we would basically talk about sex. And I had a student that was a rape victim, and we would talk about sex, and you would see how uncomfortable she felt. And so I definitely like the things that I had to say and like how to address sex with her was a lot differently. And you can tell like by the end of like the semester, she was a little bit more comfortable with sex. And she was like, oh my God, thank you for helping me. And, you know, all this other stuff. So I feel like I kind of had like a dip into it. Like what can it could be like, because, you know, she was so afraid to even talk about it or hear, like you can see like her whole physical. It was just like, you can tell like she was super uncomfortable, and I felt so bad, but it's like, you know, we got to keep moving. You know, like sex is, you know, a topic, and this is a part of the class. So, you know, she had to move on whether she liked it or not, but I was there to support her through the whole thing. Okay. So, you know, even like I had to make sure the other students weren't asking her like fucked up things, and it wasn't triggering for her, and I had to make sure that dynamic was okay. So I felt like I, you know, like dipped into it just here.
What's the wildest question or scenario you've heard so far?
What is wild, I guess.
Oh, that just opened up a whole new line of questioning. But go ahead. What is wild, Kevin?
What is wild to you? What's wild to you?
What is something that the average person would be like, whoa, because to you, being polyamorous, that's the way to go. But of course, to the next person, they'd be like, whoa, how? So what is something that the next person is going to say is wild?
Okay. Well, okay. I wish I can like project all the stuff that I've actually like heard and seen on my mind, so you guys can like watch it on the screen. So you can pick. So you can pick which memory you want to like replay because there's so much stuff.
Let's go with the first one that pop up.
Okay, so I think the craziest story I've heard was this girl. I keep laughing because it's just so fucking funny. Okay, let me compose myself. Okay.
There we go.
Is that Claire?
Like this. Maybe.
There's Claire.
Hey, Claire. So she was having a scene with this guy, and she loved leather. She was infatuated with leather. That's her kink. And so she was kissing some guy's boots because she's submissive, and she was kissing a guy's boots.
Okay.
And I guess the guy had a dog, and the dog came over and licked her butt.
Oh no!
And that wasn't weird to you?
I thought that was a little weird because it was like a lot of things going on in my mind. Like, okay, here she is, butt ass naked, kissing some leather boots, and a dog comes out and licks her ass.
The dog's like, dog. I see something. I want it.
I'm finna get involved in this shit.
Okay. So like,
this couldn't have been his first time,
right? That's
he
what I'm like.
ass before.
They practice that shit.
Man,
he got a
okay.
mannequin with a drilled in hole.
I was a little confused. Like, what the fuck? Like, the dog wants to. I get it, it's ass. So like, the dogs sniff ass, but I was like, really, he wants to sniff?
Dogs sniff other dogs.
Right.
So, you know, hey, I don't know what. Maybe it's just recognized ass.
I'm telling you, he probably got a whole training course. He probably put like peanut butter on a mannequin's ass, and now the dog's like, I think it's some peanut butter up there.
Hey, you never know. You never fucking know.
I'm just saying.
It's not too far out there.
Oh, that's bad.
You know, when we actually
That's
talked
too
about
funny.
that in class, actually, on why people have sex with animals, like maybe the cause of why people have sex with animals.
They're gross.
No. So maybe like they were born on a farm or like around animals, right? And so they're jacking off, have an amazing experience because they come and they're by like animals, and right? So they associate this feeling with that animal. And so maybe they want to...
You know...
No, I have to hear the end of this. Continue, please.
Maybe that feeling will be associated with the dog or the animal or whatever the animal of choice is. So that could be a cause.
You do a good job of trying to play devil's advocate with
therapist,
this, but but nah. They nasty.
You know, hey, what? It's non-consensual, so it's definitely nasty. Because
how do you ask a dog for consent?
You know, the dog didn't have consent.
He licked the ass. What you talking about?
That's what I'm saying. You got to ask the dog, or how does the dog ask you for consent?
Give me your paw.
Yes,
You down with this? Give me your paw.
They don't know what's going on, so it's still rape. You still raped a dog. And that's isn't that a felony now, I guess? Having sex with a dog.
You do anything to a dog, you go to jail. I'm pretty sure that's somewhere.
I did see it was a felony, like animal abuse was a felony or something like that.
Yeah.
Not opposed to it, but I was like, it's illegal to be black. But hey, that's a different conversation.
This is true.
That's true.
Completely different episode at that. So let me actually just kind of expand on being a sex therapist, just for the people that, you know, when you hear sex therapy, the first thing that people think about is, couples therapy. Everybody that can't,
True.
You know, the sex ain't that great. You know, how you can get. There's obviously more elements to sex therapy than that. So kind of talk about, you know, what exactly that is. What does that look like? Maybe some people be like, yo, I need to go see a sex therapist now. You know what I mean? So try to do some clients.
Yeah, I love it. I love
Summer's
it.
right around the corner.
No, it is. There's a lot of females struggling with orgasms. We do talk about that, of course. But there's a lot of things that we don't talk about, like rape, rape victims, and what does that look like, and how do they think about sex, and how are they having sex, or, you know, people with performance anxiety, like how is that like, people who have early ejaculation, you know, problems with that, like how is that, did that stem from anything, or, you know, like what is going on, is it physically? Like, do you have to go see an actual doctor, or is it mentally? Because I know one of my aunt, her little boyfriend, he went to sex therapy because he couldn't get hard.
This is an interesting conversation with your aunt, but okay.
I know, because they're always like, oh, you want to be a sex therapist? Like, here. And I'm like, oh, my God.
Talk to me to come out quick.
That's what it is. I'm like, I hate these conversations. So she was telling me, like, her little boyfriend, couldn't get hard, and, he was having troubles with that. But it was something stemmed from, his childhood. And so he had to work through those issues. And so it wasn't his physical. He wasn't unhealthy. It was just mental. And so that was causing their sex life to, go a little down.
So at that point, does it become like a referral program, or is that something that you
Can you refer people to, hey, go get this shit checked out? Can you do that?
You do that on your own. Like, I mean, maybe if I network with people, like, hey, see this doctor, but that's until I get there, but for now, I'm just like, hey, you maybe go see a doctor if this is.
So hypothetically, this is a completely hypothetical, ladies, because I do not have this problem. If I was to come to you and be like, hey, yo, I keep ejaculating early, what would you say to me?
What would I say to you? I mean, there's a lot of things that we can talk about. Like, what are you thinking
what are some
about?
Of the standard things you were talking about?
Like, what are you thinking about? Like, what's going on in your head? It just depends on, like, how deep you want to get into it. Like, what happened as a child, or, just like little stuff. Like, but early, like, ejaculation, it's like, the actual definition is like, you come within like a minute. Yeah. So I don't.
That sounds medical.
So it's definitely more. I was gonna say definitely more medical. So it depends on like what's early ejaculation to you? Like, is it too early where she's like, I can't come because you came early? Like, is that what that is? Like, you just like, fuck it.
I think that's more so saying from the women's side. Like, if they ain't come after like 30, 40 minutes of straight pumping, like, no, you need to see
something wrong with them.
But, or just some terrible, terrible strokes. One or the other. But, I mean, I think whenever, if a woman doesn't go and get hers off, then yeah, they probably consider it early ejaculation. I think for a dude,
we call that Tuesday.
He's like, hey, man, I did my best. I can't make
for two. That's Tuesday.
Guns blazing.
Oh man. So it just depends on a lot of things, but we'll see.
Okay. So if you don't mind me asking, how long you got left until that's wraps? Until you finish with that?
Forever. I got 2 more years, so it's okay. I just started.
Okay. So like I said, the summer's around the corner, so you definitely can find her. Pretty sure she can be Tiara as well as Kinky T. I guess you could mix the two.
Yeah, they can mix. They mix. You can get a little bit of ratchet and a little bit of education.
Get the whole nine.
Yeah.
So it would only make sense for this being this kind of episode that now we have to get even deeper into your business. So
I let my business out there.
Go crazy. I
mean, I would assume so. You had your titties out, so I would assume.
No, I'm just kidding.
Can't even shit. There's a viral picture somewhere.
I was so worried that year. Like, oh my gosh, it's gonna come out.
Nah. I mean, again, going into the profession that you're going into, you kind of just gotta
fuck it.
To take those lumps. Listen, I had a whole speech with my team. I'm like, look, where I plan for this to go, accept it in your head that if you have a sex tape,
it's going. Yeah.
If you have a dick pic or a clit pic, depending on who's the person on the team we're talking to,
I ain't got those.
Understand, your shit's gonna leak.
No, that's how I feel. I remember this guy, we did a sex tape together, and I don't know what it is. He's just so hurt that we're not together. I don't know. He was like threatened to leak my shit on Twitter. Because he's like blocked or whatever. And I'm like, that's fine. I'll get some checks. That's okay. Pay me. That was a good one.
I was looking for the blue check mark anyway.
Right.
Fuck it. I was killing it that day. Go ahead. Go ahead.
I know my performance was great.
Right. I'm like, I don't think you want people to talk about you, but okay, whatever.
Yeah. Yikes.
T.
Oh, the hurt, the pain. So polyamory is your thing. What are, I guess, sticking to what this person is gonna say, what the fuck to? What's your most colorful experience since having this free lifestyle that you live? This is another projection question.
I feel like my lifestyle is very free anyway. Like getting flown out is very free, I guess.
I would never understand that shit, but I'm listening.
Colorful. My life is colorful, so I don't know right now.
Okay.
It's so hard to think about like the most that stood out to me, just because I feel like it all played a role in life. Like, this made me who I am. This is why I'm not this way. So I never like be like, okay, that was it. That's like the most, because you can't change. In my opinion, you can't change things that happen to you. As much as we want to like block it out, it still happened, and it's still that memory. So I just kind of rock with it and work with what I have, because I don't want to like, I hate my life. So I just like, okay, that was like a pivotal moment. So it's hard to say like this was the best thing. I'm just grateful that I can live my life. So I think that's the most colorful moment of my life, is being me. And that was so hard for me to be me, because I wasn't, you're you your whole life, but you're never like, I feel like you're never you. There's some things that we like, I don't think the world wants us to see that side. And so for me, I'm like, I'm just fucking me. And like, if you don't like it, you don't like it. And if you do, hey, thank you. Like, thank you for liking me. Right. Because it's not going to change.
Absolutely. That was a real ass answer. For anybody that just tuned into the episode late, she said that it was a porn called Santa's Little Helpers. It was like 12 midgets. She dressed up as Mrs. Claus with no drawers on.
That sounds hot. That definitely would be me. No drawers on.
See, boom. So now it's believable. Now it's official. They're gonna literally find a porn called Santa's Little Helper. It's some white girl named Kate or some shit.
No, it's gonna be Claire.
It could actually be Claire, so I could be right on
Claire
this.
Claus,
Claire Claus.
Is this the Kate dude was talking about?
Maybe.
Was he a midget?
Well, he was kind of short. So whatever you think a midget is.
Y'all think anything under 6 foot is short.
Yeah, okay. And
y'all do.
Well, I'm 6 foot, so I'm solid. So
I know, but still, I see it. But yeah, I do.
Okay, and he was shorter than me.
He was shorter than you.
Yeah, and I'm 5'6"
Yeah, that might have
been. He was a midget. Pretty short. Yeah, he was a trick though. Oh boy,
that sounds colorful in
itself. Right, I say that.
See, that's what I'm saying. My life is very colorful, so I don't know what but he'd always give me like lunch money and stuff, and it was like not like cheap lunch money. I'd be like, okay, so where the fuck?
Work lunch money,
right?
Yes, okay. yes.
Just Olive Garden.
It was a little bit more than that. Like, go to like Ruth Chris almost. Like, okay.
For lunch?
Yes, that's the type of lunch money he give me.
I'm planning for Ruth Chris. Like, come Valentine's Day. I know it's Thanksgiving, but come Valentine's Day, we definitely going to Ruth Chris.
Thank you. So just keep him around. Oh boy, I sound so bad on here.
Not
keep
at all.
Him around. But that's what I feel like that's what we do sometimes, Like the sex is cool, and so hey, you give me some money, there's pluses to that, why not?
Nah, and maybe again, live your life. Get from it what you're gonna get from it. Do what you got to do. Because you also mentioned getting flued out. Then again, she tried to brush past.
She did try to brush past. She tried to throw that in there.
I was like, she think I'm not gonna circle back.
I did not think that.
I'm gonna finish off the sex therapy conversation. But we coming home.
Why?
So getting flown out.
Okay.
It's on that topic, but I seen a question: Do women, or I guess I should say men, should men expect there to be sex if he's flying somebody out?
No.
Okay. I just seen it. I agree with you. I just
She's taking some trips and not giving up cheeks.
I never.
None of the times you got flown out, you've given up cheeks.
Maybe once.
Right, there's somebody at the couch right now. She fucking lied.
Yeah, I'm like, but okay, but
that's pretty, right. Here's the tape. Play.
I did. I liked that flyout though, so it was fun. But the first flyout was very interesting because that was probably
You never got flown to Dubai, have you?
No, not yet. I feel like I don't want to deal with those type of people.
No, you don't.
Because it's weird. I guess people can be weird.
Possibly.
Or different from what I'm used to. Not weird. So anyway, the first guy that flew me out, he just flew me and my best friend out.
Oh, he thought it was gonna be some real shit going on.
He thought it was. Yes,
You remember that scene before Charlie Murphy on the bike? I'm gonna get some pussy.
He definitely thought that. Oh boy, he sure did. But I'm like, fuck it. We got tickets, bitch. So you trying to go or no? We can just go and fucking ditch his ass. We got tickets. We can get the hotel room when we get there.
Was these like round trip already tickets?
Yep.
Oh,
yeah.
Boom.
Boom.
Shit, we can do whatever
In my
we want.
name.
We got tickets.
Yep. In my name.
I don't know. That may have been a scary, flawed system because he knows when you're gonna be at the airport.
Yeah, but
8:30. Okay.
I don't have to get in the car.
It's true.
There's a lot of things I can avoid.
Where was the first flyout?
Chicago.
Oh, okay. Okay, Chicago niggas got flyout money.
I guess so.
There's some senators out there and stuff like that.
The fact that that's where you started, I'm not
Right.
even gonna ask any questions going from there. We can
I'm
wrap
just
that
saying. I'm just saying. There's not, people are cool in Chicago.
It's the Windy City. It makes sense. So we're gonna get all into this Kinky Blunt. So we're gonna make this now your episode.
Yeah.
So how many flyouts have you had?
Not too many. Like outside of people that I actually fuck with, not too many. 3. Is that a lot?
No, that's
not too many.
That's 3 more than what a lot of people.
I try not to.
There are some women that can't even get picked up from the crib.
That's true. That is true.
Can't get a lift, like a whole lift.
I was like, am I risking my fucking life? I was just like, okay. The first time I was like, okay, me and my friend, we're cool, we're chilling, and then some shit happened. He was shady, so we fucking dipped.
What did he do?
He tried to kick us. Well, he got mad. All the other guys were looking at me, and he was like, "You're not gonna fucking." Oh, because I was wearing heels that night. There we go. And I was sitting down, and we were walking all fucking night, like literally all night. So I'm tired. So we sit down. And my friend's like, oh, there's upstairs. There's a different thing upstairs. Like, let's go because we're at the club. We've never been to this club before. So we go upstairs and he's like pissed because all the guys are looking at me. And he was like, so you go up and you stand up for some niggas? And I'm like, no. She said there's a different part of the club. So anyway, we get into it, blah, blah, blah. Long story short, he's like, fuck you guys. Basically kicked us out. Mm-hmm. And I was like, he was like, good luck finding a place. I'm like, dude.
Was this your first time ever physically meeting a guy?
Yes, in physical, yes. We FaceTime before and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it was like I've known him and we've had conversations before, so I wasn't afraid. Mm. I was just like, okay, cool, it's like meeting somebody off of Twitter, hey, but hey, fuck it, he had money, I guess. So fuck it. So it was very interesting. So he's like, fuck it, leave. And I'm like, okay, bye. I'm like, you're not the only person that can do this. I'm like, I'm from Vegas, baby. I'm
about to say, it's the come up city.
Right.
You're just a sucker. You're the one that lost all this money, not me. I can afford this.
And you ain't getting none.
You gonna cry in the car. No.
That's exactly what it was. Okay, you mad and you still not gonna get none. Bye. Thanks for the trip. I enjoyed my time out there.
How long was it for?
It was the weekend. We flew out on Friday, I believe. I don't remember. It was 2 years ago.
Damn.
That's been the main word of this episode. I don't remember.
I have a really bad memory.
No, trust me, mine is trash. So I'm gonna tell this story on the show. I felt bad because we had the interview set up for Friday. Was it initially?
Yeah.
It was Friday initially, and we ended up getting accepted for the Revolt Summit out in LA. Mm-hmm. And the whole appreciate it. That's all I've been doing was busting my ass, getting shit prepared to go out there.
Of course.
And I'm literally on the red carpet. We just got done interviewing Spectacular or somebody who was also short. But we just got done interviewing him, and I look at my phone, and Kev hit me like, I take it you never updated Tiara. I was like, oh shit. And at this time it was like 4:30. I was like, wait, she hit you up? Yeah, asked me where you at. I was like, nigga, I am so sorry. So I say all that to say, my memory is just as trash.
No, that's what I was like. I would probably forget too. I was just like, okay, I hope it's not my memory. I was like, fuck, I hope it's not me. I'm like, did I miss something? I'm like, it's me.
Damn,
it's
so I could have worked that out. Like,
yeah. So I was like, oh, okay. I was like checking. I'm like, okay, it's not me this time. I'm like, thank God, because boy, I'd be forgetting. Like,
no, I'm right there with you. I partake in a similar substance.
I start writing
well,
stuff down.
Hey, I need to set like an alarm.
I started doing that. Started writing stuff down.
Set
that.
What's the movie, Memento? Start getting that shit tatted on me. Like, fuck it, nigga. Go to lunch. Got you. Cool. We out. You know what I'm saying? We're making that way.
I think she kind of went over a lot of what I was thinking already.
Yeah.
okay.
You know what I mean? Like she went over a lot.
Did I? I hope so.
I'm trying to think if I.
She's like, oh, there's more.
I know there is. Ask away. I don't care.
I don't think I think I got everything for now. I mean, I'm pretty sure this probably is not going to be your first time and only time on this show.
I
So
love
come
that.
back.
The
Gotta
next
come back.
time, I may have a lot more.
Yeah, and I might have more
But
for you.
yeah, but for right now,
Could be another flyout.
Yeah, for right now,
I try to keep it funky in my
Shit, have
life.
you had any flyouts recently?
She gonna stop it. Nigga, I went to Dubai. You put that shit in the atmosphere. I fucks with you, Kev. It's next time she come through.
A little bit, but I wouldn't say it's a flyout because we were friends. So
Okay.
But
Yeah,
I
that's
think
a little
he
different.
expected some ass.
The fuck it's not. I haven't flown a single friend buddy to the city.
I can understand. I haven't done either, but
Let me
I can
also say this.
understand it.
I haven't flown anyone out, period. But
Oh, okay. So he was basically like, it's my birthday weekend and I just want to be around people that are cool and I can vibe with. And I'm not judgmental.
See, I would do something like that if it's a close friend, not expecting no ass, but I would do something like that if it's like a really close friend. I mean, you know me, I would do something like that.
Hey.
Okay.
He was like, have you ever flown me out, nigga? He's like, you haven't done that shit.
We live here.
You know, hey, and
I've lifted.
so I was like, okay, cool. You know, we'll go and I'll kick it with you. So he ended up getting a hotel room and stuff like that. I'm like, okay. And then he had
this year prep.
Right.
yeah, he did, and I was like, oh,
He knew
okay.
exactly what his
he
plan
did. He
was.
did. I didn't expect that
Pick her up.
actually.
We're gonna go kick it. We're gonna go to the
Manscaped.
hotel room.
Yes, he had a nice
already knew.
hotel. He did actually, and I was like, "Oh fuck, this is not."
He was like, "It
I'm
ain't that kind of party."
No. Thank God there was 2 beds. Thank God.
That's where you fucked up.
Right.
You went on a sold out day. Y'all ain't got no more kids?
Right on that day, all they had was 2 beds.
All I got is 2 beds. Shit, you should have set the other bed on fire.
He should
That's
have.
crazy.
You
Just-
should have pushed them closer together. So we only got this one.
That's where you should have set everything up. Had the laptop, you know what I'm saying? The chairs and the straw bed, like, boom. Can't use the bed. It's taken.
He should have, because you're absolutely correct. Because I laid my happy ass on the other fucking bed.
Laid on the other bed and was out.
Period.
He said, like, you stay on your motherfucking side, I stay on my motherfucking
That's what it
side.
was. That's what I made sure of that, and he made sure of that. And then we went out the next day. He was like,
What was that conversation like the next day?
So that's what I'm about to say. He was literally, what the fuck were we doing? Oh, we were coming. Okay, so we went to San Fran, and so we're taking, like, I don't remember. We were like walking to take the tram or whatever the fuck it is.
No, the BART.
Yes. And so he was like, yeah, you slept in the whole bed, da, 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 da. And I'm like, oh.
Nigga, that's what it's here for.
You noticed.
Y'all are still friends, right?
No.
There you go. I was about to say, understand. Y'all friendship changed that day.
Oh boy, trust and believe. I know. I fucked up. I should have slept in that bed that night.
His sleep was bothered that entire night.
He was wide awake, mad as hell.
Mad as motherfuckers. You try to talk to me making fake snore sounds. Just,
Right. No, he was making little noises to get her attention. Why he over there making all that noise? That's all that
He
was.
was very petty the next day because, boy, he didn't want anything to do with me. He was just so like, eh. And I'm like, wow, I thought we were supposed to be friends. Like, I was so confused. I'm
cool.
like, I thought we were cool. Like,
he was like, I flew you out.
he was like, he wanted some pussy and he didn't get none. So I was like, okay, there's a difference. So
I would assume any guy that flies somebody out is going to want some pussy. Not saying that, they should get it and that they're entitled to it.
Yeah,
but they're definitely on their head.
Yeah.
Is once that ticket is bought, they're now practicing in front of the mirror. Like, I got to make sure I do some extravagant shit because I done flew this girl from Vegas. I got to make sure I do some different type.
Right.
I got to break her hip.
Yeah,
That's what I got to do. Got to break her
down
hip.
and everything. Like, yeah.
yeah, but also none of that was communicated.
Of course.
So I feel like people don't communicate what they really want and what they want out of people. So I feel like that's where error comes from, like miscommunication. Like, okay, you wanted ass, but you're telling me I'm just your friend and we're going to have fun for your birthday and I'm just here to kick it and that's nothing more, nothing less. So to me, you're my friend.
We're going to have fun.
Are going to have fun. And
His idea was was getting ass.
Yeah, right. And mine was like, I'm exploring a new city. Thank you for showing me your city.
Had he said that this flight is for some cheek beatage, would cheeks been beat?
No, I would not have gone.
Okay.
I would not have gone.
So in hindsight, relationship or you guys' friendship was probably going to change regardless. Because if you would have said, nah, I'm good, I'm not coming, he probably would have felt some kind of way.
Maybe. I would hope not, but that's unrealistic. He probably would have, but I can't speak on that. But hey, I hope he wouldn't. But people do, and that's so sad because I feel like I can be a really good friend. But people would rather just like, fuck it. You curve me, bitch, bye.
that is one of the fucked up things about I guess really people in general. I was gonna put it on just the niggas, but I'm like, nope, that's people.
Yeah.
Is when you realize that whatever it is that you want wasn't properly communicated. You kind of just think the vibe is there. You think shit is solid. As soon as somebody shows you that shit is not solid, it actually gets quite loose. It's quite wet. Then again, they don't know if it's quite wet or quite loose. Who knows? Anyway,
right? Perception.
Exactly. However you go about it. Once you realize that shit ain't as solid as you wanted it to be, now all of a sudden, I ain't really got nothing for you. Because it's crazy to hear that you said you had 3 flyouts. 2 of them were left with people that didn't like you anymore.
Yeah, it's weird.
One of them was
nice.
a success. So was the third one, or whenever the fuck, the order it happened, was that something that was communicated properly beforehand?
It wasn't even like that. I was like, this.
I bet you were.
This hotel was so nice. Oh my gosh, I love this hotel. And I was just like, oh my gosh, you're so
He go
sweet.
get some pussy.
I love the vibe. It was like when you open up the screen, you see all these like other hotels. I guess it's like all these. It's a skyrise type of thing. And so anyway, you can see other people having sex if you wanted to look for real. So I was like, okay, let's open up the curtains, and here I am naked and wanting to get seen having sex with him. I think that was more so my vibe.
Good shit. Hey, good shit.
Free spirit.
Congrats to third guy. We're gonna call him third guy. Don't know his name, but he is third guy today.
He is. He's cool though.
So is there anything that just is off limits for you?
I'm not eating a guy's ass.
That's the gotcha. That's the one.
Yeah, and I think I'm gonna save that for my husband if I do.
A guy's ass will get 8, but he must have his last.
maybe, because I'm like, maybe I might, because we've been married. If we're married, like we
okay.
gotta...
So with that, just to kind of circle everything back, you want to be married, but you're in a poly relationship. So do you plan on marrying both parties, or do you plan on being monogamous to get married?
Well, it's illegal to marry both parties. Gosh, I can only be married to one.
You seen what they do in Utah?
You feel me? They make shows about this shit.
Yeah,
right.
But it's crazy because they actually don't like people that display that. Utah is very they don't want that, like, anybody to know that they still do that. So anybody who is put on display, they actually, I mean, maybe now, but I've heard that they run people out the town, basically, legally, because it is not supposed to be practiced. So like the stuff that you see like on TV,
Utah's like a big Mormon state, isn't it?
It is. It
think so, yeah.
is. It is. I actually do know people that that do have a little Mormon life thing going on like that.
The Mormon poly life.
Yeah, they do. They do. So that's why I'm like, okay, the Utah thing, it's a little weird because like they are all about polygamy, but like they shun it. Like if it's shown.
It's like that dirty little secret.
Yeah, like don't let it out.
Right. Don't talk about this, but
Yeah.
But
we do
this
it.
shit.
We do it though. Yeah. So
Don't
it's
tell
weird.
nobody my girl got a girlfriend.
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
it's weird. It's weird. So they'll have like ceremonies like this is our other person. But like legally you can only marry one person. And then it's a ceremony. for
So
everybody
you
else.
would get married and then explain to the guy or girl that, hey, this is something I want to do. Would you be down with this?
That'd be before we get married. So
Well, yeah,
yes,
okay. Essentially, yeah, before we get married, yeah. Now, what happens if you and this person have talked about getting married and you guys are kind of gun home about getting married and you bring this up to this person and they'd be like, nah, I'm not with that.
I would be distraught
Why?
because I still need to have sex with women. Like I still need that woman connection. Like I need that
Or
vibe.
could you say the person that you're marrying, let's say if you're marrying a guy, you tell him he's not with it.
Okay.
Be like, all right, you're not with it, but every once in a while it's gonna be threesomes. Would you? Is that something that's feasible? I'm trying to understand what would you do if your person that you married was like not rocking with it.
I would.
Divorce is what.
That's what it sounds like.
She's about to bullshit you just after. I mean,
sounds
you know
like
what I'm saying? Like, you know, sex therapy, you know, that's all. they got therapists for it.
It wouldn't be divorce, but it definitely was something that we wouldn't even get to marriage. So it's like, we're not even gonna talk about that. Like,
Also, breakup.
So before y'all even married,
Yeah.
that person got to be on board.
yeah, because we all play our roles. We all have different roles in the relationship. Like her role is more so. I like
What is your role?
my role. I'm the main bitch, the bottom bitch. I'm just kidding. But basically,
Almost popped your collar, girl. We go arcade in. You better do
you
yours.
know, the little ratchet shit. And, you know, like I said, I'm a little ratchet every now and then. That's one of them. Okay, back to it. No. So anyway, so my role is basically like I like to have my man and my woman, and so I like to. I guess I'm like the baby. I like to call myself like the baby that has both of them, because I need somebody on each side because I like the attention. Because mainly it's for me. I feel like. So with the guy, that's my man. We have sex and, you know, and we do all this other stuff. And then for her, like, she does stuff that when he's not around, she's around. So that, like, I'm still fulfilled in different ways. And yeah, that's it. That's my role, being the needy one, I guess.
Salute to that.
Yeah, I can understand it. I can understand it.
If it worked for you, like I said before, keep doing you. You're gonna keep doing you anyway. But
No, yeah, for sure.
you know, and I definitely hope that a lot of people can kind of really get on board and just really live their fucking life. Though.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's really what it's about.
You see, it's unapologetic shit is real.
No, yeah, it is. And it's fun.
Absolutely. Hearsay.
No, yeah, for sure.
From what I heard.
For sure. You can have bad experiences, but don't let that knock you down. You know, you just got to figure out what you like now and how to move forward and fix it. Because I had an oopsie and now that's not that anymore.
Now, you know, good and hell well. We are not about to just drive past. What was the oopsie?
Yeah. You know, just
First of all, was it a traumatic oopsie?
No. And even if it was traumatic, I'm open to talk about my traumatic experiences because a lot of people don't talk about their trauma, and people don't know like what they went through is traumatic or trauma. They don't know that, so we'd like to be like, oh, that wasn't traumatic. But sometimes we forget about the things that happen, and it's like, oh, that's why I think this way, or oh, that was very traumatic for me, but I didn't realize it was traumatic at the time. I was just like, my oopsie. But I think communication, like with what I want, that's just my big oopsie. Like I didn't know what I wanted, so I didn't communicate it, and then I got irritated when I didn't get what I wanted because I didn't communicate it. So I think I was like, like what the fuck is like, why am I not getting what I want? Like what's going on?
You did what some women do and got Okay.
Yes. Oh
I
yeah. I can say women we do it. You know, I think humans we do that. Like, okay, why isn't he a mind reader? Yeah, people have that. You know,
Real
it's
tarot
mind reading.
guess.
You know, like why don't what the fuck? Read what's going on in my mind. Like you're supposed to know me. Like no, you're an adult. Say it. You know, use your words. You know,
But see, when I say that, I get
That's what I'm saying. When you say that,
I get shit for it.
Yeah, I think. Oh, we just learned in class like primary emotions and like secondary emotions. Like I feel anger. Okay, well, what is deeper than that? Like, do you feel ignored? Do you feel like belittled? Like, what do you really feel?
Right.
Like, is that your primary? Or like it's just anger is not what's deeper than that.
Anger.
Right.
Yeah, like why are you mad? Like mad is just so like like that doesn't describe anything.
Right.
If you really think about it.
Because then you got to try to figure out what's the reason why, what's the root.
Yeah, and so it's hard for people to do that sometimes.
That's true. This was a very good episode. This was a very interesting conversation. I'm really happy our ear hustle was able to hear it. I know there's definitely some freak asses on this shit. Like, yo, I gotta find all of them, all four of them. Claire,
Right?
Kinky T.
Wow,
I need the whole gang.
Wow.
So because of that, let the people know where they can find you at. And of course, your show and when the show comes out, the whole nine.
Yes. So if you want to follow just me, Tiara, it's Suavae Love. It's SUAVAE Love. Not like Suave with the accent. It's just Suavae because my dad's weird. He named me that. Shout out to Dad. And then
Big up on the naming.
Yes. He was way ahead of his time. And then if you want to follow my podcast and like things I post on there, which is most of the time educational. There's like some worksheets you can do and stuff like that I do in class. So it's like a reflection type of thing. Mm-hmm. It's just Kinky Blunt Talks. One word, one sound.
Is that on Apple, on Spotify? What is
we're on Apple. We're on all of us. We have Apple, Spotify. You can do iHeartRadio now.
Okay.
Like Google, like all the other stuff, but mainly like all the main shit.
Gotcha.
I'm afraid to do SoundCloud because I used to date a SoundCloud rapper.
You don't want them to find you.
So I'm good on off of SoundCloud, but nothing against SoundCloud. But
that sound like Claire.
SoundCloud is probably the best record label out there, right?
I know. I need to get over it, but I'm like, maybe one day I'll get over that. Like, okay, SoundCloud is just a thing, but dating a SoundCloud rapper, there's a lot that goes with it.
No, not really. They ain't making that much money.
Yeah, the stigma is wild because all this shit really happens. If you see it on Twitter, it happens. He's recorded some stuff in our conversations and it's on a song. So that really does happen.
All right.
He got some sad songs in there, I'm sure. Kev, they've heard it for the last 3 years, but
right.
No, because you changed it like every other fucking week. So.
No, that's a goddamn lie. I'm not changing it every week.
Every month?
No, not even close.
See, look at these men lying over here.
No. Just changed my Twitter because I'm rebranding.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Hollywood Kev _, 2 underscores is my Twitter. And I did make a Snapchat. Don't use it, but I make one.
Snapchat.
HKev23 is my Snapchat.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I did just overhear that as well. We're not going to just skip past any of this stuff.
Wait, I didn't hear it.
Good.
She said Snapchat that pussy. That's what
Good.
she said.
I don't have one of those.
I'm Takashi. But that's going to lead to my question. You doing premiums?
Ooh,
He said you got OnlyFans.
That's what I thought. I was like, do I got OnlyFans? No, but I got some bitches that do it. You can buy it off of them.
This is why you need to follow Kinky Blunt Talks. I'm trying to lace y'all.
I'm here for my sex workers. Shit, I know.
Crazy.
Okay, I got some bitches that is down to do what they, do what they do. I know some.
Go crazy.
With some fat asses too. I'm ready to recommend.
You know some titties out there too. She got to keep
love
around
some
for the
titties.
funds.
Period.
At Big Los IG on IG, Big Los 89 on Snapchat. That's it. That's pretty much where it ends. So again, Tiara, also Suavae, Claire, and Kinky T. Appreciate all y'all.
Thank you
for coming through.
Yeah.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. So you'll definitely be back. We
Yes,
try to
I
bring our
hope
guests
so.
back at least one time.
Yeah.
You better.
Oh, absolutely. Oh, who was
That was a
that?
threat.
That was Suavae.
Yes, the hood nigga in me.
That was Fred now.
That's the hood nigga in me, you know.
That's the ratchet she was talking about.
That's the second time.
As always, we appreciate you guys tuning in. As always, we appreciate the support. And as always, Big Los.
Hollywood Gas.
It's the Noize.
Oh.